Good evening. What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Just getting over this vacation hangover. Still recovering.
Oh, you on a vacation, man? Good for you.
It was a fun work vacation, doing a little bit for the podcast. It was a great time. So I'm sure. Are you recovered? I know that you've got to be welcome to getting back to the U.S. and getting the food.
Yeah. I was happy to get home and get the food. You know, I literally got threatened by some Irelanders. Is that how you'd say it? Irelanders. That's hard to say. But threatened me because I knocked the food.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a good burger there. I was surprised.
I had good pizza. I had a good time. That's the most important thing, is I had a great friggin' time. How about you?
It was memorable. I'm looking forward to the next one. I love the country. Everybody there seems like they're happy. So maybe that's the booze. The music.
Yeah. Everyone was extreme. You know, everyone told me, and everything that I read also on podcasts and things I watched about going over there, they said, don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics. All anybody did over there was talk to me about religion and politics. Mike and I were walking down the street in Belfast on St. Patrick's Day night. A bunch of young girls came up and just asked, are you guys American? Who did you vote for? And when Mike told him who he voted for, they started dancing in the street and high-fiving him and started a MAGA chant. And then every taxi driver that we had was talking religion with us and showed us the wall. Did you see the wall? There's a wall that goes down the middle of Belfast that separates the Protestants from the Catholics. It's like the Berlin Wall.
No, I didn't see that. So
I don't care if you're Protestant or Catholic, and I'm sure you don't either, Chris. It's the same God. I'm pretty sure it's the same God, and we love you either way. And even if your food stinks, I'll come back and maybe someone can take me on a tour. And Jody promised me a cup of tea when I go back at his house. Because apparently I shot something from the mountain, and we got Jody's house in the clip that was on last week's show. But it does feel good to be home, doesn't it?
It does. I miss the U.S., but I mean, the club wanted to give me a job. I'd go move there in a heartbeat. A paying job, I'd move there.
It's not too cold for you coming from Texas?
Nah, it didn't bother me. I like it there. It's beautiful there. I thought that town has a lot of potential. It's very romantic and poetry, and it's got a connection to the U.S. So I would go in a heartbeat if they wanted me, but they're gonna have to sponsor me for visa, or I'd have to do something to get citizenship there. So
sponsor you like you're a Vietnamese exchange student coming in for a semester, huh?
Yeah, I'll be an old student, so
we're never too old to learn. Did anything surprise you about the country, about our time over there, about people that we were actually able to meet face to face for the very first time?
Well, it's a long list of surprises. One thing, didn't realize how tall Stephen Baxter was. I was a bit, when he walked up to me, he looked like he could still play a little center back. He's a big dude, and when he's up on stage, his legs were pretty long. He's a tall guy, but other than that, that it was more, I knew about the history with the Rangers in the U.S., but I thought it was a little bit more connected than I thought. And then also, the stories of, I think his name was Adrian, right? That was taking us around the town and talking about the first ships out on the water that was like a legal pirate ship from our military that you could do basically what you wanted. It was a lot of that stuff I thought was really, really interesting.
That's how they could bribe me, is get me one of them pirate ships, and then maybe I'll come back over.
I know you didn't like the wind in the call. I remember you trying to film us, and you were trying to keep your hand steady.
Yeah, the camera was going like that. I was shaking everywhere, all over the place. You know what surprised me more than anything else? The love that these people have for Neil Diamond.
That, for sure. That was a good time that night. Here it comes. Favorite part.
I could just freeze it right there. And apparently people were busting his chops about this, but everybody was just out having a good time.
It becomes a Jody video right away.
That's how I have it tagged in here, Jody Dance. And then last night, where are we? Last night they posted another video, same song, somewhere different with a different group of people. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw it. They love that song. You know, the hotel where Andy and I were getting a drink at in the bar, they were playing it there too, in Dublin at the hotel. So it's everywhere. People love that song there.
The official anthem, I guess, huh?
I think so. It's kind of like the Red Sox. They need to start playing it at the games.
Yeah, that is the Red Sox seventh inning stretch song, I think.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, I've been to other arenas where they play that, and it's such a participation song. Everybody just starts getting involved with it. You know, just one of those feel good songs. You know,
it is. It is.
But yeah, I know Jody's watching too, so you know that song's for you, Jody. That's all. It's going to be your song, and you're always going to be remembered for that. So.
And feel free, anybody that's watching, if you have questions, you have comments or anything, you drop them in the chat. We're flying solo. Luker is graduating from the Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting tomorrow morning, so he is not here to produce. But I think the unofficial anthem of Northern Ireland national team.
No.
Well, they didn't do too much singing today, did they?
Nah, not today. But that was expected. So, but. Okay, so when they said that is our song, then now I really know why it's their song. So,
I like the song. I like it even more now. I haven't heard it in a very long time, and I can't stop listening to it now because every video I watch on Instagram or Facebook that I get tagged in, it's got Sweet Caroline playing.
Yeah, when you're at a bar and you're drinking, you're starting to feel pretty good, and that song comes on. It's instant chemistry with that song for everybody. Everybody's going to participate. Even if you don't know the words, you're going to mumble something and pump your hands in the air and move to that song. Doesn't matter.
So, so a lot of people, I see a lot of people in the investors group that we have on Facebook, our private group that's got a couple thousand people in it now. I think if there's ever another round of investing, and I don't know that there are, I think it's round one is done and they hit the goal. But if there's another round, after all the content that everyone has put out after this weekend, I'm assuming that next round will blow up really quickly and they'll hit the mark real fast. And they had a great, I don't want to thank one person from the club because they're obviously a team of people that work on everything, and everybody seems to have like 12 different jobs there, but they do a fantastic job. And they, I don't know what day it was, but they took us on the train. So we went to, and I don't have a picture of Grand Central Station here. And I remember that Peter and Michael had told me on a phone call before we went out there that we were going to go on this train, and they had two cars dedicated just to us, to the investors, which was kind of cool. We had basically had our own cars, but they had said Grand Central Station. I went, oh, I hope it's nicer than New York. And yeah, it was a lot nicer than New York. That Grand Central Station, you could eat off the floor in that thing.
Yeah, it was clean. And from my understanding too, our Strategy Matters, who's a sponsor, one of the sponsors on the warm-up kits that they wear, they're the ones that worked that out and arranged it because that's pretty much an uncommon thing, I was told, where we could grab two cars, dedicated. So they came through, and it was funny. We ran into him again outside the castle. The guy, he took his picture of my wife, Debbie, because she was wearing that Strategy Matters shirt, took a picture of Grand Central Station, and we ran into him again. So he remembered us. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good partnership when you have a sponsor that can do stuff like that for the organization.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And look, the club, and look, guys, this is part 2 of 2 on the Owners Summit. But we're going to be talking about this for weeks and months to come. And we've got so much stuff to show you that we can't fit it into 2 shows. So I would imagine we're going to be stretching this out all summer long, pretty much, is what I'm imagining here. So anyway, we took the train and we had our own private cars. And then we get off at the train station, and this is the Carrick train station.
Taking over.
And then there's this mural right outside the train station.
Pretty cool.
To the Army Rangers, the U.S. Army Rangers, which we can go on for 3 hours about this, but we're gonna leave that for another show. But I had no idea the ties that America had to that part of Ireland and to Ireland, and the actual love that they seemed to have for Americans. I mean, they were the friendliest, nicest people. And when the kids got up and sang that last night, and they said, we're going to sing this American song, won't it be cool to really sing it for some real Americans? I don't know. It kind of made the hair stand up on the back of my neck. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that guy that runs that museum that told the whole story about Jackson and all that. The guy's amazing. You could really feel how genuine he was, coming from the heart. In fact, I mean, I got a little choked up, man. My wife was giving me a hard time about it, but it was good. Just the stories, and I like that he stopped him. We remember those soldiers that were there. That was pretty good. So that's why I say, I mean, it's not like this booming metropolis there, which that was a surprise too. What you heard about the history of the town, it used to be the capital, and how things have changed there in the town over the years. And then we met with the politicians at the dinner, and I was sitting there trying to give ideas. I still agree, like what you said about what Cohen did around the Mets stadium. You do something like that there, I think it'd go over so big. But
yeah, no, I agree. I'm just gonna, I don't know where we went. Things are acting up here. So as you're talking about the city, I just figured I would throw the city up there.
Yeah, it's got that architecture. It's a coastal city. I mean, it's really. And if they take my idea, I told a bunch of politicians about having weddings on that castle. I think it would go over. Imagine the views and the pictures you would get. And then you have wedding parties coming in there, and then you could do a hospitality arrangement where these people come to the game as well.
Yeah, that would be epic to get married in a castle like that. And Andy, who we'll hear from Andy, and we got to thank Andy because we got matching hats now. The People's
That's right. Yeah. So thank you, Andy. I'm sorry you can't be with us tonight. I know he's traveling on the way back, and it was great to meet him and his wife. Good people. So it was good meeting you too, AJ. I finally, we sit here, we do this show, and we got connected, and it's just a voice and a picture and a camera, but it was great to meet everybody. I can't wait to meet the rest of the crew in person one day.
Not Van Slyke though, right?
I still need to meet Uncle Rico.
Yeah, you don't want to meet Uncle Rico. You may not. They may never see you again if you meet Uncle Rico.
Yeah, it might disappear. If he would have came on this trip, I don't know where he would have went. He probably would have run off to Scotland or something. I don't know. He would have disappeared. But
I went to Vegas with him for a week and saw him for 5 minutes. So yeah, that's what he does. He kind of vanishes. But hey, so they asked us, because we said we want to do a lot of filming when we're out there for the podcast. And the original idea was to do a live podcast from, whether it's the top of the castle, which would have never worked because of the wind and also because of the temperatures. Because I guess if we would have done it during the day, I wouldn't have shivered that much. But it was amazing. And Andy's going to report in from the top of the castle here in a little bit. And then we talked about doing it from the owner's box, but it just didn't shake out with the schedule. I mean, it was a jam-packed full few days, but next time we'll definitely do some lives from there. But they asked us, what do you want? What do you want access to? So I sent them a long list, and I expected like a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It was yes, whatever you want. And what was the first thing that Stephen Baxter said to you?
Well, he came and shook my hand, and he said, "How was I?" But I felt like it was a bit of the YouTube interview. He was starting to he talks fast. He just starts getting right into the season about how the lads are playing hard and giving them everything. I was like, I'm not interviewing you. We're just talking right now.
But did he tell us whatever you guys want, my players, whatever you want?
Yeah, he did. He did tell us everything we wanted, and he did send a couple of players over there that we were able to interview, which was great because it was good timing especially with the EA Sports campaign going on, to get to talk to some of the players. That was really helpful material to provide to EA to get the players' point of view.
And one of the things that we wanted to talk to the kit guy.
Yes,
the kit man. And we did, and let's take a look at Mark, the kit.
Is this your first time in here?
Yeah, the first time in here. So you put all these out. So this is normal game day routine. What do you do on game days?
So game day, I'm normally here. Players will be here tonight from 6 o'clock. I'm normally here on a match day an hour and a half before the players get here, and I set their kit out. Basically the way it is here. There's still a few things to go out, sock tape, their water, their fluids and all that sort of stuff, and nutrition stuff, which is actually done by another nutritionist, Ivan Hanlon does all that. And the only difference is that the kits are turned around the opposite way, but it was done, they were turned around like this here in case it got out who was starting in the starting lineup tonight. So yeah, but that would be standard. This is standard setup of the change room.
Okay, good idea. I like that. So just give us a little inside scoop. Whose jersey always gets dirtiest?
Joe Crow or Danny Gibson. They are the worst too. Joe, I think, rolls around in the mud just for fun because he knows I've got to clean it. And Danny, when I see Danny celebrating and he slides on his knees, I feel like crying because I know I've got to clean them afterwards. So my wife loves me bringing the kit home on a Saturday night or a Friday night, as it'll be tonight, So
that's where you clean. You take them all home and
take everything home. Take it to the house. If they're bad, if the kits are bad, I'll go through them with a toothbrush and wash them up liquid and clean them all, because otherwise you'll not get the stains out of them. But yes, that's what I do.
What do you do if they ever get ripped or torn? Do you
if they get to that stage, we just replace them. We can print their names and all on them here. We've got facilities to do that, so we can print their names and all on their tops here. But yeah, no, that's generally what happens. If they get torn even during a game, we have a spare top for the guys. Yeah.
So when we have a road game, are you doing the kits in the road locker room then too?
Yeah.
So give us the insight in the league. Who has the nicest locker room?
Oh, the visitors tonight, Linfield, have got the best change rooms in the league. Huge change room, really well laid out. But there's something nice about our change rooms. It's a good setup, so it is. But I'm looking forward to moving into the new stadium when it gets built. It'll be good.
So when things aren't going well and Stephen gets upset with the team, it's pretty crowded. He looks like he's right on top of you. So
yeah,
are you ever in here to hear those kind of
I'm
things?
in here. So all the staff are in for before the kick-off and at half-time then. So yeah, we're all here. So yes, okay, Stephen's a very measured person, so he never really loses his temper, but he's very good with the players, and the players have a lot of respect for him, and they'll stand back and listen to what he's saying and take it on board. And all the other coaches too,
Yeah. What about, do they give you a say as far as since we're doing a new locker room? Do they ever come to you for any opinions about it? What you need?
I hope they will, but they haven't, not as of yet.
Work on that. All right.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Unless you got any kind of stories you want to share with us, or
listen. I've only been doing this for. Stephen asked me to come and do this just over a year ago, so I've been doing it for about a year. My wife's not overly fond of it. I think we're ready to go through our second washing machine. But no, it keeps me out of the house. It keeps me involved in football. I can't play anymore, so it gives me something to do. But no, it's good. I I enjoy being around with the guys. The guys are a really good group of players, really good group of staff. We're very tight, and we get on really well together. So yeah, no, it's good.
I keep hearing you talk about your wife. So is she actually doing the laundry, doing
No,
the cleaning, or does she help you?
believe it or not, I didn't even know how to work the washing machine before Stephen asked me to do this. So this is all new now. Don't have the excuse to say I don't know how to do that anymore. So I help her out a wee bit with that. No, she doesn't get involved in cleaning at all.
So you think there's a future to get a detergent sponsor that you
Yeah,
guys would use?
you Americans use Tide, is that it?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe sponsored by Tide.
Yeah, that would be kind of nice.
Yeah, you know.
The official detergent of the Carrick Rangers.
Yeah.
Yes. So we appreciate it. Thank you for
No, thank you.
everything.
No,
I
thank
said
you.
thank
we
you.
met
We
the-
appreciated him like 30 times.
Mark,
This
okay.
interview goes on.
Hey,
and
is there
on.
any shot that you take over as the,
He's an underappreciated
the
guy.
gaffer at Man United, like the guy on Ted Lasso?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
I've got my own business to run. I don't think I've got time to do Manchester United, and I wouldn't go if you paid me.
Do you also do the Falcons
No,
kits as
no,
well?
no.
That's totally different.
Only-
Yeah, I
only
would
the
think you'd come in there. Yeah, I don't know if you went there before and set it up and then just left. or-
No, just the first.
So, do you ever work with their kit person then? Do you ever?
No, it's just solely first team. That's all I deal with.
So she takes that laundry home and does it.
I
as
don't
well.
know what way they do that, whether the players take it home and wash it and bring it back, which is actually a good idea. Could maybe get the players to take their own kit home and wash it and bring it back. But no, I'm not sure what way the Falcons work.
What if they forget it?
Oh no, that would be
They
disastrous.
might, yeah. So you better keep in
Yeah,
charge of it.
probably
so.
for the best. Yeah.
He's a great guy, Mark.
Yeah, I think he does some other coaching help, right? On the with the academy, the women's team is one of the helpers as a coach. He's does some coaching as well. But hats off to that guy's wife too. She got to be very patient with them, and that's kind of an underappreciated position. You could tell they were ready for us because the one thing we picked up on is the jerseys are normally turned the other way, but they didn't want us, exposed in the lineup for the night to Linfield. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like trying to figure out if Danny Gibson's jersey might have made it somehow by miraculously, but or who was called up. We couldn't find out that, but that was pretty cool.
That was crazy cool. Let's roll on because and this is not all in the exact order that it happened in, but we kept talking about the castle, and I mean, that's a big drawing point is the castle. Everybody wants to see the castle. And to get to the top of the castle, I was told, because I asked the tour guide, I said, who gets up here? She said, nobody. She goes, you got to be somebody important, which we're not, or you got to know somebody really important, which we know Peter. Peter knows somebody really important. So Andy, anyway.
The stairs. You going to share about those stairs?
In a future, or I'll throw it up on a TikTok reel and then play Sweet Caroline behind it. Everything that I post is going to have Sweet Caroline behind it now. But you want to know what it's like on top of the castle? Andy's going to show us.
Hey, welcome everybody. I am standing in front of my new favorite place in the world, the rooftop of the Carrickfergus Castle. We have had an amazing day. We had the match last night and we beat Linfield for the third time ever in Carrickfergus history. So the locals have been very happy with us that we brought them some good luck. But today we've had a wonderful day where we've gone all over the town of Carrickfergus. We did a tour of the castle here earlier today. We also went to the Andrew Jackson Museum where Andrew Jackson's father grew up before he moved to North Carolina. And then we also did a fantastic walking tour with Adrian, who we'll hopefully have on the podcast at some point, and got to learn a lot about the town's history. We saw the town walls. So Carrickfergus was a walled city. We got to see where there was a prior monastery, and there's actually monks that they found that were buried underneath where town hall is. And then now we're here up at the roof, so it can give you a little bit of a view of what Carrickfergus looks like in proximity to everything. So you can see it's right on the coast. There's also a little bit of work they're doing to restore some of the castle, but having done a little bit of travel around the UK and Europe, this is honestly one of the best preserved castles I've seen that we've been to out of, I think, 9 or 10 now. and just a fantastic thing right across from City Hall. There's a lot of great pubs that are close by, and then you're really right across from a lot of great stuff. So really another thing that we invested in a football club here, but there's so much to find in the town, and it's really just a 20-minute train ride up from Belfast, and really you can spend an entire day here and not get bored, get a lot of history if you're into it. And we'll definitely get some more information about the tours that we went on today whenever we do come out, hopefully. But one of my biggest features for coming out to invest in the club, aside from the romanticism of a small-time club that's up and coming, was just the castle here. I had gone on a trip to England and wanted to always come back and see this, and it's better than I could have ever imagined. The views are amazing here. You have the rolling green hills in the background. St. Nicholas Church we're going to go to next, which we'll try to get some content for you there. There's just an amazing lot of history. Everybody here has been absolutely inviting, aside from a Linfield fan, which I'm sure you'll hear about a little bit more on the show. But this is definitely a magical place and very surreal to be here. So really want to give you a little bit of an idea of what the castle looks like and what the town's like. And you will not regret if you come out here to visit for a game or even just a weekend trip if it's the off season. So we'll be posting a lot of videos and content with more. But I want to give you a view from my new favorite place on earth, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Who knew that he was a castle expert?
He's into that stuff.
I know, he was excited to go up there. I know.
Yeah, he's the perfect guy to put up there for it.
But here's some more of the view, if I can get it to play. I actually need Luca here tonight. I'm having technical difficulties, but yeah, there's the view off the castle. It's pretty amazing. And what it takes to get up to the roof of that castle, we'll show you. If we took all the content that we got in the week that we were there, we would make a full-length major motion picture longer than, what are these, like the Titanic? Wasn't that 3 hours long?
Yeah, I think it's 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, we got so much that we can't work it all into one night. Hopefully it's not all choppy, and hopefully people are enjoying it. But it was an incredible time, if you ask me.
Yeah, and for those watching that were unable to go, I hope you can see this, and this is something we can share with you. I would definitely, even if you weren't an investor in the team, I would recommend just to see Ireland, Northern Ireland. It was only a 2-hour ferry ride to Scotland, from what they say. The whole area is it's really beautiful and it's set in a lot of history. I mean, so hopefully if you didn't get to go this year, you get to go in the future if they do this again, which I have a feeling they are going to do another summit. And hopefully a lot of people that get to go to this one get to go.
Yeah, just if you're going to go over there, pack a bag of lunch or 2 or 3. Because I had a hard time finding anything really good to eat other than a pizza. So let's go back. Let's go back into the dressing room. And is it called the dressing room or is it called the changing room? It's not called the locker room. I think it's a dressing room, right?
Yeah. Is locker room a U.S. thing?
Well, no, when I was in the changing room or dressing room at dinner, they called it I want to say a dressing roam.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited about that when they get the money and they revitalize it. That area, it needs to be spruced up. Be a little bit more modernized, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. So here's part 2 of 3.
Type of sock,
Mark,
or they'll wear what's known as sleeve socks, which is also a cut sock, but it's fixed at the bottoms. But then you have other players who prefer a full old-fashioned, as I would call it, full sock with the foot in it. So it's all the wee different things that you learn as you go along, what the players want and what they expect. Some of them like their tops nice and tight fitted because the body's like myself, and then there's others who like it nice and loose, So, but yeah, no, you get to learn all the different things that they want, and they want during a match, before a match, and how they like to be set up that side of it. So it's
How come that spot's empty?
just purely because there's no real spot for somebody to sit there. You know, it's quite a small changing room as it is, so there's no real spot in the corner for somebody to sit. And that's
Is there any stories where there's ever been a player really injured or something happening? You hung up his jersey for like a memory or something?
No, not in my time. No, there's not been. So there hasn't been like no, there's been nothing like that.
What about, I see all this over here, what are these for? Are these like for trialists or something?
No, these are players' tops who are maybe injured or not available. That's the away kit. So basically, I just put it on this. This makes it handy for me for moving it about. I take it to the games, all the matches like this in the back of the van. So that's all. That's basically all. Any players that are not playing tonight, their tops will be there. Players that are suspended or whatever. Then
You do the under 20s kits too?
No. I used to with Judy. You guys know. I used to manage with Judy the reserve team. So no, but I used to. That's how I got into this. Is I used to take that kit home and wash it, and the guys were like, "I know a person that can do that job." So that was the mistake, you know. So yeah.
You don't have to name names, but anybody ever be like a real pain in the ass? Like you come in and like, these socks are not folded the way I want them.
No, not like that there, but they certainly they test my patience from time to time. It's when I go home and I lift the basket and there's pizza in the basket that I'm lifting out with their tops. But no, listen, to be honest, the guys are really good. All the players are fantastic. I have a really great relationship with everybody. No, there's no real prima donnas, and there maybe Danny a wee bit, but it's just because he loves himself.
Oh. It was cool to me. Was it cool to you hanging out in there and seeing the process and hearing the process? And I mean, getting up at 2:30 in the morning to flip the laundry from the machine to the dryer and then the toothbrushes. And I don't think I could be that committed. Even if I was getting like $1,000 a minute, I don't know if I could be that committed.
And you got to do it right, because there are people superstitious. I know that's how it is in sports. I'm superstitious. I saw that one. It looked like it had something hanging on the hook that the other ones didn't have. So I'm sure that was by design that somebody requests.
So, you know, we did so much and we have so much footage. It's almost easy to forget that there was a match that we went to.
One of the best parts.
Yeah, but Andy spoiled it because he gave away the ending from the top of the castle. So I guess
thanks, Andy. Everybody shut us off now. The spoiler.
So we had a really cool day, match day, where we get off the train. I think we went to the castle, then we went over to City Hall, and they fed us lunch and dinner, and then we got to learn the history. The mayor came in, some what would be equivalent to United States senators came in, spent some time with us, and the plan was from there eat dinner. We go back to the soccer grounds. And then there's what they call the Rainbow Bridge. Okay. And we had been sent out some chants, some soccer mantras. And the idea that I heard ahead of time was that all the investors are going to come down the bridge chanting as loud as it's going to sound like the infantry is invading. So I got all set up. I left early. I didn't eat dinner, which was fine because it probably would have made me sick anyway. But I got over to the grounds and was waiting. And here's the grand entry of the investors.
Come on, let's go Rangers!
Let's go Rangers!
Thank you. There we go. Yeah.
Very intimidating, aren't they?
The rowdies are always in the back.
And then
What the heck? Okay, Mike, no. What about
To get there, it's like a specific flight to get to
so So a couple things about match night. And this delay that are you seeing the delay, Chris, when I change scenes?
Not too much.
All right, yeah, I'm seeing a delay, but it's not going out. I have it up just to monitor and make sure that we're going where we're supposed to go, and it's not going out over the air. But a couple things with the match for me. It was packed, which was really cool. And somebody had said, I don't remember if it was Jody or Adrian, somebody told us that it was the first time that Taylor Avenue belonged to the Rangers in a really long time. I guess with the 100 Rowdy Americans, we had an influence on the crowd. The other cool thing, and I had warned you guys that this would happen, is you get recognized.
Yeah.
And you remember Jay?
Yeah, I remember Jay running up. He was full of energy, man.
He was.
Good fan.
And we got Jay right here.
So, hi, my name's Jay Olford, and I love Carrick Rangers.
Nice. And we have a fan here, and he watches the podcast, so that means you stay up pretty late at night, like at midnight?
I would watch the replay of it in the morning.
Oh, that's not right. I mean, come on. We need live views.
You know what? I'll do an all-nighter. I'll have a couple of beers, and I'll watch the People's Podcast.
Is that your mate there? He's smiling.
Yeah, it's real.
Hey, come on. Come on. Does he watch the podcast too?
Subscribe to the People's Podcast.
You heard the man.
Yeah, definitely subscribe.
Will you watch your show too? You're the two people?
I need to watch People's Podcast.
I thought it was my mother and father. Damn it! I knew it said 2 views. I figured it was my parents.
Hit the like button, right?
How long you guys been rooting the Rangers on?
So I've been following Carrick Rangers since 2020.
Okay.
So I started coming down the games in 2020. Obviously, COVID happened and all that, so I couldn't go for a while. But I used to watch from outside the ground. But then I've been supporting Carrick for quite a few years now, so I have.
Do you play footy?
Yeah, I play for a five-a-side team, so I do. I like to play 11-a-side, but I don't think I'd be fit enough for 11-a-side.
So you're going to play for the academy team here?
No, I don't play for Carrick, so I don't play for New Narby, but I'd love to play for Carrick, obviously. The team I support, I'd love to play for Carrick.
That'd be
talk
nice.
to one of the owners over here.
Have you tried talking to someone there?
I could. I'm 20, or maybe I'm a bit too old, but
Okay.
but
You're 20s, yeah.
I'll maybe. I'd like to ask one day, maybe. What you getting? I can tell. How old are you?
You can be under 20.
17. 17.
17.
What position do you play?
Well, I've been recently moved to midfield. Me and him
Where?
play
Where'd they move you from?
from defence to midfield because me and him play from.
So they were good guys. And then right here also, we asked Andy, who in New England before coming to Carrickfergus.
All right, buddy. So where were you before you got here? Who did you go see and where?
I went to Arsenal versus Everton at Emirates Stadium. Saw Arsenal win 2-0.
That's your team, right?
Yep, and they're still top of the league. Saw Man City drop a couple points after at the pub down the street in West Ham territory, which was great. And then did the Celtic tour in Glasgow on Wednesday, which was incredible to see. So got a lot of history of the Glasgow Rangers against Celtic and the Old Firm rivalry, which was possibly the biggest one in the world.
All right, so Arsenal's the top team in Prem, but what's more exciting, being here when you actually own the team or going to Arsenal? You better not say Arsenal. I swear, I'll throw you right over the wall.
I will say
we'll see how hard this wall is.
They're both excellent experiences, but very different. But to me, there's like a sort of romanticism about this of, like we've said with the EA campaign we're doing. I love that. I love the ability to go to like a small stadium like this and see a team growing, and I mean it's just a lot more personable, and you got to see the locker room and everything. So been looking forward to this as the highlight of my trip, and so far it's delivered.
Cool. Is it because of Chris or is it because of the Rangers?
I would say both.
Oh,
obviously,
you're so sweet.
What people don't see is how much shit we were giving that goalie during warm up.
We were smack talking the goalie big time during warm ups, and he was a big dude. I was a little bit nervous that he was going to turn around, but you know what I didn't do? We'll have to do it on the next show. Is I didn't get that picture because what people don't. So the three of us took a picture with the Shield on the last night at the investors dinner, and you don't realize in real life how short Chris and Andy actually are. So we'll have to. I'll post the picture tonight on the Bleacher Brother social medias, and there's an actual People's Podcast group that you can join on Facebook now. You know that, right, Chris?
Yeah, I saw you created something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got our own group, and there's a whole People's Podcast center coming to a computer screen near you. Deb.
I was going to ask you. So we've watched the games, the matches on television. What was your impressions of Taylor's Avenue in person compared to what we've seen on TV?
I liked it. I like if I could compare it to something US wise, like a Wrigley Field type of feeling. It's not new. It's not modern. It's not state of the art, but there's something about it I really like after only being there for a few days. And I might be a little bit upset if and when they tear it down.
Yep. And then we got the new stands coming in. So I don't know if we're supposed to reveal the name. We'll leave that for the club, what that's going to be. But yeah, I agree. It was different. You get that nice view on the broadcast where they're walking in, or you see the water and from behind. But when you're in there, it's got a very intimate feel to it. It's got that real old school, like it's got some age on it, feel to it.
What I didn't realize also, and we'll show some clips here in a minute, that how violent the Northern Irish League is. I mean, it's borderline like watching them play hockey.
Oh, I thought you meant in the stands too.
No, I didn't mean. I meant on the pitch. I mean, it's a physical game over there.
Yeah, the football in general in the UK can be pretty physical. So
I don't know. I've watched a lot of Wrexham games and Man City games, and but it's hard. That doesn't translate through the TV sometimes. What we saw the night of the match.
Yeah, we were up close. I mean, I'm glad we kind of stood where we stood because it felt like we were close to the action and being up in the stands, and you could hear them talking to each other. You could hear a lot of stuff, collisions. I mean, there was a big red card against Linfield in the game. So it does have some physicality to it. It's been interesting, like watching Sunday a U.S. player have to adjust in Northern Ireland League football. It's a different type of game than what he's played before. So
let's go back into the dressing room one more time. It's only about a minute, and then we'll get into actually we need to go back to the dressing room with the kit man. Okay, Mark. Then we got to go back to Jay because the Jay interview wasn't done. We asked Jay a question, so we'll go and then we'll get into the match, and then we'll get into what's coming up this week for our Carrick Rangers.
Business. So I've nipped out a bit to come here, but more or less this is everything set up. Their drinks are to go out. There's some sock tape, so they get certain players use tape to hold their socks and their shin guards where they want them. So if they set that out, but basically that's it. I'll set the balls out in the pitch, the discs, the bibs that they'll do for their pre-warm up, and then I'll go out there whenever it comes to before kick-off, and I'll assist the guys in whatever they need, lift them gear up, or being involved in any of the warm-up session, whatever's needed then, So.
What are they drinking?
Lucozade. They normally drink Lucozade Sport before kick-off. Lucozade Sport or water. So the fridge will be packed before they come in. That table will be out. There'll be a whole lot of nutrition food sitting there to get them ready, their energy levels up for the game. So that will all be sitting ready to go prior to them arriving. Normally I'm here, as I say, an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes before, along with another guy, Ivan, who does all the nutrition stuff and we'll take the warm up with the guys, and he'll have all that back here. He'll arrive probably about 5 o'clock this evening to set that all up.
So like when we won the Shield, did they celebrate in here with champagne or beer? Is it, you ever think like this is fun, but oh shit, I gotta clean this shit up afterwards?
No. We obviously were at a different ground, so it wasn't here. But no, it was actually quite sedated. So it was like, you know, probably because they're all semi-professional guys who've got jobs. So the next day they were all going to work. So I think if it had been on a Saturday, it might have been a very different story. You know, so. I know certain individual behind you probably enjoyed it more than the players did. Yeah, but no champagne.
He was great. And let's go back to Jay before we run out of
So what do you think, Uncle Rico? Have you ever seen Rico on the show? Got the cowboy hat.
Yes,
Christmas
legend.
tree. Christmas tree is still up.
Legend.
It's Easter.
Legend.
Christmas tree is still up.
Absolutely
Legend.
legend.
All right, beautiful.
Rico got a kick out of that.
The infamous Uncle Rico.
Hey. All right, I got rid of that back talk, right? Were you hearing that? Yeah, all right. I was hearing that. I don't know why, but YouTube kicked on my computer. All right, so match. We got some match footage here. And told you, just when you think, you said, we're without Steven, we don't need Steven. What we didn't get is either goal.
Good effort.
1,000 clips, and we didn't get either goal.
Good job, guard side.
Go, Joe.
Good job, bro.
Go inside.
No Crow getting that jersey dirty over there.
That was it on that one. So the final outcome of the match, Andy gave it away, was a 2-0 win. The coolest thing to me about the actual game is that the Americans were there, and then who scores the first goal?
The American.
And it's his first goal of the season, I believe.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a storybook, ending to that game to have him be player of the match. And, one thing I picked up on, like you said, there's so many opportunities. You don't always have your camera phone ready. It's like, it seems like being on the podcast, you always got to be ready. And, after the match, he poked his head in the bar. And I wish I would have my phone on, but everybody started chanting USA. You could tell, yeah, he loved it. He was smiling, grinning about it. And I wish I would have captured that, So I've learned anything here. I got to be more ready with the camera because you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, it was great that he scored. Perfect.
And we would have been lousy Boy Scouts because their motto is always be prepared.
Yeah.
And it's like every time we put our phone in the pocket for a minute to warm my hands up, something good happened. And so on that second clip, you could hear the Americans. We can say that, right? That's not racist if we say it because we are Americans. So the Americans chanting Linfield sucked. Now, I try to make sure when I go to a sporting event, I'm aware of the children around me, okay? And I have a 12-year-old child, and I know how they speak. And to me, Linfield sucked. That's kind of soft. It really, to me, it's kind of soft. But Linfield, there was a Linfield fan, and you'll be able to see him on a future episode because we have tape of him. I didn't want to use it without Andy. Andy was not in the stands. Andy was with us, pitch side, right there on the center line, the whole match. Well, this guy got really drunk because someone yelled Linfield sucks. And he thought it was Andy. So he wanted to go toe-to-toe with Andy at the end of the match. And the police, what are they called over there? They're not called police, like custodians or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I forget.
Wish they would have tasered him. That would have been great to get.
Yeah, but he was what that situation made me realize is that I'm an old man. Because 20 years ago, I would have grabbed you guys and said, come on, let's go take him outside. But I looked at him and I looked at myself, and I hadn't eaten all week, so I wouldn't get sick. So I lost about 8 or 9 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, that guy could break me in half in about 2 seconds. I mean, he could play fullback for the 49ers, that guy.
I think you would have got some help. We would have jumped in. You wouldn't have been by yourself on that. But
I know you guys,
right?
But he looked like he could have taken all 3 of us out.
Yeah, maybe so. From if what we found was true about that guy, but they were just butthurt the whole time because they're not used to what they saw. And you want them to come because they buy tickets, right? There's revenue to the club, and they're used to coming in there and being the majority. And for once, and hopefully we rubbed off on the spirit of 76. I started to hear them more as the game went on. But that guy can go eat a bag of what. I mean, I don't care. We got the win, and he has to go live with it. And I hope he's tuned in tonight. So you can.
Well, they're angry people that should not be taken seriously. But what I learned from the taxi driver, one of the taxi drivers, is every Irish person is an angry person, which kind of explains me all these years later, why I am the way I am. They'll fight about religion. They'll fight about saying sucks. They'll fight about pretty much anything. But thankfully, the police did step in. Andy did not get beaten. None of us got beaten to a pulp. And it was an epic night, bro. I'm not going to lie. And they can't take being beaten, obviously. They were not expecting what happened. But I'm going to give Chris the credit for the victory. Although Alessandro did score the first goal and it was a clean sheet on our side, Chris's smack talk to that goalie obviously rattled him pre-game.
Yeah, he kept spitting on the field. It was ticking me off. Just disrespecting the pitch like that, spitting on it. I don't know if he was doing that because he could hear us and he was mad at us, but it was wonderful. I mean, if we had all lost, it still would have been an epic, owner summit, but getting, even if we would have lost, right? But it's getting the win actually made it special. And what I realized too, when we were going on the tour, how much it meant to the town of Carrickfergus, like Adrian, the historian, when you're doing the tour, he brought it up like 3 times because it's such a rarity to happen. So, it was great to see. And they needed that match too. They're battling the table as well for positioning. So they needed it. So it was just, you couldn't have wrote a better story with Olasande scoring a goal.
It was like a Hollywood ending, that match. And like, I always try to at least lay out a show beforehand. Like, unlike, say, Uncle Rico, who gives you the script ahead of time so you know what's coming, which that's fine. That's a great way to do it. I like the spontaneity. I want you not to know what's coming so that it's not a pre-rehearsed sort of, just kind of canned comeback. So as you were talking, I'm thinking it was like a Hollywood ending, which led me over to my brain goes to Wrexham. And the very beginning of Wrexham, how McElhaney is talking about how much he loves the Philadelphia Eagles and you never have enough money to buy the Eagles. So let me go buy a crummy soccer team in UK. But he only has TV money. And to buy even a crummy soccer team, you need movie star money, but not just movie star money. You need superhero movie star money. And then also Ryan Reynolds owns like 35 different companies. But, everything that you said brought that to my mind because, everybody was excited that we were there. And apparently Peter and Michael had spoken to as Peter calls them, the politicians a few years back when Michael got involved and said, this is what we're going to do. And they didn't believe it. Yeah. And even when the politicians showed up to talk to us on Friday, they said they were expecting a room with like a half a dozen people in it. not over 100. It's pretty cool. What is going to suck, Chris, is watching the game at home this Saturday.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to all right, do us a favor, and you'll be doing the club a favor. Like everything we put out on social, share it, watch the show so we can pick up some sponsorships and make some money. And we invest in the Carrick Ranger Concorde jet. And then every week, 2 hours, 3 hours over, 2-3 hours back, we watch the matches and we cheer them on. Because my fear this week is that the team, we call it bounce. In the gambling world, they call it a bounce. Horse wins a big race out of nowhere. Next race, don't bet on him again. He's not that good. He just got lucky. I'm not saying our club got lucky, but they're going to go back to the Taylor's Avenue pre the Americans showing up. So the energy, the vibe, the electricity is not going to be there. And hopefully they can, at least they're playing a crummy team, and we'll get to that in a second. But that's my fear, is that they bounce this week.
I agree with that, and that's something I was going to talk about when we talk about the upcoming match. But if you veered around the stadium and looked at it, once you get past the dressing area and the hospitality area and the press box, usually the one end has had a lot of Linfield supporters, and then the other end where you're kind of just standing there, there was pretty much a little bit more Carrick, and then you have the whole section where Spirit of 76 takes up. And that's where they always sit, right by the dugout bar there. So that's always filled with them, with Carrick fans. But when I looked behind us directly, on the left side of the stands was all Linfield. The right side was all us, which that's going to be empty now. There's not going to be butts in those stands there. And so that's my concern. So that's there's a partnership with the team in the city. It needs to be a partnership where everything from marketing standpoint, and hopefully our podcast helps get a button stand, but we need people to show up and fill the seats that we just filled up.
Exactly. And again, share, watch 2-3 times. We just need a quick 30 mil to buy a jet so we can go back and forth, and we'll be there every week. And I promise you, we will make the vibe rowdy. Because you got to think, Andy's from Chicago. So he's not as subdued and quiet as he appears. I mean, you have to have a screw loose to be from Chicago and stay there your whole life, all right? And I'm from the Northeast, where we're loud too. And the only thing that was upsetting to me, and I know people are watching, and I'll tell you, Chris, I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now, but we broke a record on Twitter. We didn't break a record; we totally annihilated a record. There's over 20,000 people on Twitter tonight. The supporters, the 70s, they were quiet. They were quiet until there was like 3 minutes left in the game, and then they got loud. And I don't know if it's when the kid showed up with his drum and started banging it, which got them going, but man, and everybody wants to bash MLS, and MLS is garbage, and MLS, these supporters are crazy. I mean, I'm from New Jersey, and I went to a Red Bulls game in Jersey. I was afraid because I was there covering Inter Miami. That's what we need at our football grounds there. We need rowdy. They need to know. They need to feel the 12th man on the pitch with them.
Yeah, I was like, I know we had talked about that with the Spirit of 76, and we had Gary on the show, and I like what they do and everything, but I would like to see more. I do feel like they sit on their hands a little bit until, like you said, Riley and those kids come over there, because Riley and the kids ran down by our area too. We're interacting, and they are the future fans that are going to be with the club, is the thought, and they're going to be the ones sitting in those Spirit of 76 stands. But we do need more out of them, and I don't know if that's a culture thing in Northern Ireland, how it is with the stands. If there's not a lot of cheering and chants. I didn't hear anything. And I think when he was on the show, we had mentioned something about that. And they do a lot of great things for the club. I know that, like with the dinner they have coming up to celebrate the anniversary of the Shield or the Cup or whatever, they're doing some dinner and they help out the club that way. But we got to have more noise in there.
You got to feel like you're at a soccer match. You got to for the intensity that they played with and the sheer, I don't want to say violence, but the physicality of the play on the pitch, that's got to be mirrored, or it's got to be at a higher level coming out of the supporters section and coming out of the grandstand.
Yeah, we're not asking for hooligans or anything like that, but what we are asking for is when I watch the games at home, that's been one of the things we've had a gripe with, that we're always feel like we're outnumbered. Now, I will say, when you watch the Shield game where we had Americans showing up to that came in, you could hear us and you could feel us, and the team knows you're there. Just like when I was talking, many on the team knew we were there in the stands. They could feel it. It was talked about and discussed, but we can't be there every week. Unfortunately, I wish we could, but we are there watching you on TV, and you got to know we're there in spirit with you. But it's really up to that supporters group. I don't know, drink more Guinness, get loud. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there or why they are the way they are.
Well, when we make it to the European playoffs, we should probably go back. But if we can't, then we need to set up a gigantic watch party here and somehow get a gigantic screen TV, put it in front of the grandstand, and then Zoom us or live stream us in so that we can be loud and crazy.
Pipe it in. Yeah, they could do that. So into the sound system, try to pipe it in where the PA guy is. He can sit up there and pipe us in.
Absolutely. And look, you did talk to the player of the match after the match, and we have that too.
So you scored the perfect night with all the U.S. I was trying to yell USA at you and all that. So, hey, we're here with Matthew Alessandri. I finally get to talk to him and tell him how much I'm so happy he's on the squad. And tonight he had a great game, scored the first goal of the game and got player of the match. And just what were your thoughts tonight as a competitive game, and we're playing Linfield, which is one of the better teams in the league?
Well, yeah, it was definitely good to get a win against a team of their quality, top of the league. Well, not top, but they're up there, and they probably thought they'd come here, have a little jolly up, but I was proud of everyone and how everyone played, and it really shows them that that we're not to be messed with. But this has been a fortress. It was a good game and a good turnout as well, which was nice.
So how are you feeling? You guys are going in now, the split's going to happen, and we're going to go into the next part of the playoffs and all that, and there's still a chance of the European football. So how do you guys feel? Or is that a goal of you guys? Is there talked about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're trying to get the most amount of points as we can out of this, and go for that push if we can. So it's definitely a goal. We're not tossing it aside, saying like we've done enough. There's more that we can do, more to be done. So yeah, definitely.
Did Stephen communicate, or did you guys know that we're all going to be here tonight? Did the team have a little extra juice?
Well, he told us before we went out, so it wasn't too sure. But we did see quite a lot of cars parked outside, so knew there might be a bit of a turnout. I was surprised at all that.
Well, we're hoping y'all heard us. We were trying to be loud, and in fact, it got a little heat of some of the Linfield supporters over there. So
I could hear a few back and forth.
Yeah. So, but once again, hey, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the season.
Cheers.
We really.
How cool was that, bro?
It was awesome. I always check on him with his agent, and I was glad I got to meet him finally and get to talk to him in person. So I'm sure it is really big for him because he's gone through a lot of adversity.
Yeah, I like him because he's from New Jersey. So
you make sure you do that too. Not Philadelphia.
That's it. Yeah, not Philly. He's from Jersey. Another cool thing, talking about how friendly everybody was, is that at halftime, we walked away for a minute, but then re-huddled back up, and there were these two young guys standing next to me, and the conversation just started up. And they are, they're the future, just like Jay. It's Ethan, and his buddy's name is escaping me right now, but I'll figure it out real quick. But they were great. We spent the entire second half with those guys, and then Ethan had reached out afterwards to make sure. I guess Ethan must have dipped out right before Andy started that whole Royal Royale on the sidelines over there. So he sent me a message on Instagram just to check to make sure we were okay. And it turns out he's now our first international correspondent, and he will be at the Rangers Crusaders match this weekend, getting us content and footage. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that.
And he was great. He's a great guy. I mean, he seemed like a great guy anyway.
Yeah, they were really good. So I think they would have had Andy's back too. They were down there.
Yeah, and they were drinking. So those two, I think. I think they drink a lot. Those two. They got. That's what they got across to me is they like to drink. But who didn't? Age.
Get good coverage with them drinking. We'll get some really good coverage.
We definitely we'll have to get them to rile the crowd up. So all right. So this week the match. Just when I thought I figured this sport out, the friggin' league splits. I'm like, what? Explain this to me in like the Reader's Digest version, because we're already over time by a minute. So we're over a little bit, guys. That's how it is.
Yeah, I think we're going to avoid relegation now. We finished 7th, and so that's where the split begins. So second part, you finish 7th, you can still qualify for European playoff competition.
And we're actually now with this split, we're in first.
In our side, we are, yes.
Yeah.
We need to stay there. That's the goal.
Well, we are. I'm not. Where the? Oh, we can't see the points on here. Right, win, loss, draw, for and against. I think we're like 7 points up.
Yeah, you can kind of see if you calculate the wins. So it's 3 a win and 1 a draw. So if you look at Bangor right below us, we got 2 more wins than them and 1 more draw. So it kind of gives you an idea there. That's like 7 points right there. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, Chris. That's Steven's job. And Steven's watching because he texted me. He's in Orlando watching. Shouldn't you be riding the teacups over at Disney World, Steven, instead of watching us tonight?
I noticed more people in the chat than normal for doing a show. Like you said, things are blowing up. And I see John on there. I don't say his name, Demarcus. Is that right?
Thank you, Q.
So if you see that, that's my hope to be our Ryan Reynolds. So, because I know he's getting ready to do a movie, and it'd be good to have him on the show in the future. But he's a really nice guy, really good guy. And I'm hoping for success for him in the acting world. And hopefully he can get a superhero movie and be our Ryan Reynolds at some point.
Wait, hold on. John is getting ready to do a movie with Ryan Reynolds?
No, he's getting ready to do a movie. He's an actor.
Okay.
So he's a really good guy and somebody we like to have on the show in the future. He's an investor like us. I know Harry was really excited too that, he participated with the email about the EA campaign. You see him comment, he's not that big a star, but it's somebody you want to make it, because then you are the Ryan Reynolds version right there of Carrick Rangers.
Well, John, would you be the Ryan Reynolds or would you be the Rob McElhaney? Which one would you be if you're one of them? And where does that leave us? We're the Danny DeVito and the other guys who are on It's Always Sunny, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So what are our chances this week, buddy? They're pretty good.
It's a game we should win. On paper, I've said this before about letdowns, and you mentioned it tonight with the bounces, right? We're not there this week, and we're a little bit worried. Could we have a hangover? From a letdown from the game. And, but man, Crusaders is a minus 34 goal differential. Their defense is really bad. They have a guy named Fraser Bryden, who's kind of their Adam Lackey of the team. Everything is centered on him. He finishes well in the box. He's got 18 goals. So he knows how to score. So it's going to be their focus is going to be on him. Lackey should be back. I'm assuming Danny's going to be back as well, which could be huge. So as long as we don't have a letdown and we have the right frame of mind, and it's one thing when I was talking to Steven at the dinner, I had given him a lot of credit that the team, no matter wins or losses, they've been playing hard for him. So he has not lost the locker room. They play hard for that guy. So as long as they don't have a letdown or hangover, we should be like a 2-0, 2-1 game. But if we have a letdown, I could see it drawn. If there's a letdown. So let's hope not.
Yeah, I certainly hope not. I don't know what to do. I don't have to go to the bookmaker this week like we did last week off the street, but I always like to have something on the Rangers. So
it was chalky last week. You would have, if you bet on the Rangers, I would thought not chalky, but chalky for Linfield.
yeah.
So I would bet on the Rangers this week if I was going to bet on them. I definitely would. I mean, their defense is leaky, so you figure we have a chance on set pieces with Adam Mikey. One thing that's going to be really interesting to me is the script for this game that Baxter does, because normally I notice when people are out like Danny or Heatley or Lackey, you'll see them move up Mikey Place, and then you see Olasande on the pitch too. So together, and they shut down that right side pretty good, and they're on the pitch together. And we've had success, although in a small sample size. But with us getting healthy again, it's going to be interesting after Olasande having man of the match and having a good game of scoring, if he starts or if he's back coming off the bench.
I know you want to have John on, but it made me think back. We interviewed this guy about 3 years ago, Brad Swanek, bodybuilder guy, chiseled. And he announced on our show, he says, I shouldn't say this, but I'm the next Superman. And he was an actor out in Hollywood. Turned out he wasn't the next Superman. And now I think he's back in Jersey working on the boardwalk. I'm not sure. So you might want to avoid us, John, or just avoid making any prophecies about where your career is going to go.
Drop a curse on him. So he seems like a really humble guy, though. So you could just tell. That was one thing I'm going to say too. All the people we met, there's so many good people. I think that was one of the things too, besides the match, that really made it special, is the people that you met from all over the states. I thought it was great.
And the people that we met from right there. I mean, I went up to say goodbye the last night to the second floor bar, ended up staying 2 hours because everybody was up there hanging out. I mean, Peter took me and Mike, who's not part of the team, not part of the show, anything. Mike just kind of said, hey, I'm going to Ireland with you for a couple of days and I'll get out when the summit starts. And, he helped me get some stuff. But Peter took us out the day before the summit all day long. He didn't have to do that. No. I mean, it's a fantastic group. And then meeting guys, like I was all full of myself afterwards. I saw Michael at the other end of the pitch and I said, hey, 1-0 when we're here. But actually Becker's 2-0. And it was great meeting him too. So Becker was there for the actual Shield game.
Something that would be really cool if we ever keep growing and we start to get out of that more of that part-time to full-time, if the club could just ever come over to the States for a match, like a friendly with somebody.
With Wrexham in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, God.
Stadium.
Yeah, I might do it. Wrexham's got a big following now because they're documentary. So we need to take this and do a documentary. Who can we get on TV with? Who will stream us?
We stream ourselves.
We need like Netflix to get us. They would pick us up like Sunderland and Wrexham had. We need to do something like that. You've got footage now.
We'll get there. We'll keep supporting the team. If the team keeps supporting us, we can all go places together, which is really cool. So final thoughts after the summit. And look, we're going to be talking about our time over there for weeks to come because there's so much stuff we haven't even shown you yet, but we can't fit it all into one episode here. But final thoughts, buddy.
Well, from the politician standpoint, I know I'm a little biased. We had her on a few weeks back, Cheryl Brown-Lee. I follow her and I noticed she's not all talk. She's action. She was out there digging up seaweed one day. She got a light on the street I saw today. So definitely someone I think that's really important asset for the club. She's a big Ranger fan too. So I that was one of the thoughts that I had from the politician's standpoint with the club and the partnership. I would have to say a special thanks to the hospitality we got from Michael and Peter that you mentioned all the way down the board. Like, we did fun things, for those that weren't here, like the whiskey tour. I know how to pour a proper Guinness now. Just doing a lot of fun things. Jody was great. He gave us great content on the film as well. But and Adrian was great. It's a lot of fun going out and drinking with those guys because you get to talk about a lot of things that you normally don't get to talk about being over here. That you get to talk to them in person. It's fun when everybody starts drinking. We all that truth serum comes out and you start to get loose and have a good time. So it was a lot of fun. So that was something that I'll remember.
When I saw that investment ad come up on Facebook a year ago or whatever it was, I never, ever thought that it would amount to anything more than me bragging about myself, telling people how I own a soccer team in Ireland. I have friends on the other side of the world now that I can't wait to see again. And I'm not a people person. I like to just go sit in my hotel room and watch TV. But the UK TV is so bad. We had to save that for another show. But the point is, it was great hanging with you. It was great hanging with Andy. But it was great hanging with everyone from over there also, as well as the people that came over from the US. And I can do it out the cold. And I don't know if I could starve myself for a week again, but I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, I agree. We had talked about that too. Hopefully the rest of the podcast crew, we could all go back with our families because I feel like there's still a lot to see as well that didn't get to experience everything. I still think I'd like to go back for a longer period and do some more things in the surrounding areas because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to like Scotland. And shout out to not just Northern Ireland. I love that place. Belfast was great, and so was Carrickfergus. But it's the people too in Ireland that I ran to. I know you said they're angry, but when I went out, everybody's like
joking. Cab driver said everybody's angry here. They all hate each other.
They seem like they have a good time. Now, I will agree with you on the angry part. If they start drinking a little too much, some of them can get a little belligerent, and they can. One of the things that was interesting when we went to that pub across from the hotel, Michael was saying that was a neutral, friendly. We can wear our Carrick stuff in there, but a lot of other times you can't go to pubs wearing your kit because it could offend some people. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But everybody was nice, really hospitable. Not just our Carrick group, but the people at hotels, restaurants, at coffee shops ran into. They're just really great.
I hope I didn't piss anybody off because I was so cold. I bought every coat that they had in the team store, and I wore them all at the same time. So everywhere I went, I was sporting the colors.
Yeah. Gary's gonna have to stock back up in there. But that was the other thing. Another personal favorite, be like my grandfather for this week. We were there. That D.A. Dow guy from Delaware. We were out and people were asking us why. Everywhere I went, they were asking why Carrick, and that guy needs to do marketing for us. He was trying to get everybody in ownership on the streets, but we were meeting fans from other areas, and it's kind of like not a lot of people hate us. I don't know because we're part time or we're kind of like not as big, but there was a lot of why Carrick, and so it was interesting people finding out about the U.S. investors and what it's become and how it could grow and the potential it has. So I don't think a lot of people realized it. And so like DA and myself were out there trying to recruit Linfield and Cliftonville. They were security guards there in Belfast, trying to recruit them to get ownership. And they were talking like they might. I told them, here's the QR code. They were going to start tuning into our podcast. So hopefully they're here tonight. But I thought that was interesting.
It was a great time, man. I can't wait to do it again. I'm really considering like looking into like a Jersey Mike's or something and see if it's actually doable to open one up in Carrickfergus.
You can find food there. You just gotta look,
They need a Jersey Mike's though. They need a Jersey Mike's there. Everybody needs a Jersey.
I agree. Carrickfergus does need some development. That was one of the things, a reason to stay. It kind of needs to be a motto for them. And that's the goal there. So, if our club gets in the EA, maybe there is a reason to stay there. Maybe that'll get some people to come out and want to see them play in person. if we get into the game. So,
well, get out there and support this weekend, guys. And we appreciate everybody that tunes in every week. Follow us on socials, the People's Podcast on Facebook. This group, go and join us. It'll be content. It'll be funny. It'll be serious. If they keep sending me Sweet Caroline videos drunk, I'm going to keep posting them. So, take this ride with us.
And if Riley, if your dad and you're listening, Riley, if you're at the games, I have an expectation of you now. So I hope I hope they're watching this or it gets word to him. I have an expectation that you need to take over the Spirit of 76 stands and beat the hell out of that drum and make everybody chant. And I know you're young and don't give a damn, so you're probably the one that can do it because you're going to not have any fear of it. And I think you're the one that should be responsible for it. So I'm putting that on you. When I watch the game Saturday, I need to hear the Spirit of 76. And the team needs to hear you. I don't know how if you realize how much it means to those guys if they hear you in the stands. Because they did make notes. They had extra juice hearing us. So they hear y'all. It'll mean a lot to them. So please, do that, Riley, and your mates. Get everybody going. Get the older guard in that going, get them yelling, get them cheering.
We'll be back next Thursday night. You're going to have to stay tuned. I have no idea who the hosts are that night or what the topics are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be another Carrick victory and probably more of our time over there. But everybody have a great, I do think that the Jersey Mike's popped in my head. And I don't want to go into this whole big long thing about Jersey Mike's, but when I was a kid in high school, I worked at Jersey Mike's when there was one of them.
Yeah.
And the guy that started Jersey Mike's just sold it to one of these great big investment companies for like $6 billion or some crazy. It might be 60 billion. I know it had a 6 in it and it had a billion in it. It was sick, but he's still involved. You never know. Peter Cancrow. Well. If this gets to Peter Cancrow from Jersey Mike's, team sponsor, Jersey Mike's all over Northern Ireland, I'll even go back and work for minimum wage at the Jersey Mike's in Carrickfergus.
We can give sandwiches to the club and feed them and have them do endorsements, holding the sandwich and eating it.
And Peter, you got the money. So you could Peter Cancrow from Jersey Mike's, not our Peter, but the other Peter. So, you could step in and get that Jersey Mike's, People's Pod, Carrick Ranger, Concord out of mothballs, and bam, I like this. We're going places, man.
What would Jersey Mike's look like on a kit, a sponsor?
No, I could handle it. It would look pretty sweet. I mean, look, I'm watching. What am I watching right now? The Florida Panthers and the Minnesota. Was it Wild? It's Jersey Mike's right there on the ice. The gigantic. Yeah. It was one Jersey Mike's when I worked there. It's a whole story. Whatever, but another time. So we're going to check out. We got some scenes for you from just around Carrick. And you're right, Joe. I couldn't handle the cold, but I'll suck it up if we open a Jersey Mike's over there. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
From the harbour lights of Carrick to the shores of far away, every heart beats Rangers, every soul will proudly say, we're the voices in the terraces, the hands that built the dream. Now the people own the Rangers, we're the lifeblood of the team. From Carrick to the mountains, to the cities around the globe, our colors fly together and the black and amber
Thank you, Court.
We're the people's club forever, we'll sing it loud and true. Carrick Rangers owned by all, the best for me and you.
Future Falcon.
Belfast to New York, from Sydney to